All right. Mission 4, lesson 21. You're going to take this smaller fraction, whatever yours may be, and you want to change it into this fraction. So when I did this tower power the first time, I had 5 over 2 to something over 10, and now I have 6 over 5. So whatever your number is, you're just taking this fraction, and you want to change it to this fraction. So you're going to whatever your numerator is to this one. So for me, it is 6 times what is 12? Well, 6 times 2 is 12. No matter what yours is, no matter what this number is, whatever this is, it's always going to be something that can be multiplied. Remember that what you do to your top, you do to your bottom. It has to be the same. Now you want to change this 12 tenths to be a decimal. Remember that because there is 1 0, that means there's going to be one number behind the decimal. So if I'm going to write 12 as a decimal, I'm going to have 1 0, which means that it's going to be one number behind the decimal. So for me, it's going to be 1.2. Because there's 1 0 and 10, that means there's one number behind the decimal. This one we want to change 19/20ths to 95 over 100. So I don't know what 19 times whatever could be 95. I don't know what that is. But I do know that 20 times 5 is 100. So whatever you're doing, whatever your number is over here, you're going to be changing to be over 100. So just look at your denominator for this one. I know that 20 times 5 is 100. What I do to my bottom, I do to my top. Now, 100 has 2 zeros in it, which means there's going to be 2 numbers behind the decimal. I only have 2 numbers up here, so I'm going to put my 0 point. The 2 numbers that are going to be behind the decimal are going to be my numerator. Because there's 2 zeros, there's 2 numbers behind the decimal. Just like with this one. 1 0 1 number behind the decimal. Those zeros are your hints, guys. Now, we want to change 7/4 to 175 over 100. I don't know 7 times what is 175. I have no clue. But I do know that 4 times 25 is 100. Whatever I do to my bottom, I do to my top. Look for the multiplication problem that you do know. I didn't know that 7 times 25 was 175. I didn't know that. But I did know that 4 times 25 is 100. What you do to your bottom, you do to your top. What you do to your top, you do to your bottom. Now 100 has 2 decimals. That means 100 has 2 zeros. I'm sorry, guys. 100 has 2 zeros, which means I'm going to have 2 numbers behind the decimal. So 175 has 3 numbers, but I want 2 of those behind the decimal because there's 2 zeros in 100. So I'm going to take my 1.75. Whatever yours may be, you're going to take those 2 numbers, make sure that there's 2 numbers behind the decimal. Okay? Okay. This next one, you want to change 1/5 to something over 10. So I'm going from 5 to 10. What did I multiply 5 by to get to 10? 2. What I do to my bottom, I do to my top. So that equals 2 tenths because 1 times 2 is 2. Now I want to write that as a decimal. There's only 1 0 in 10, so that means there's one number behind the decimal. I only have one number, so it's going to be 0.2. Now I want to change this 2/5 to a decimal. In order to change 2/5 to a decimal, I need to do this on paper. If you can do it in your head, that's fantastic. But if you need to do it on paper, let's do it together. So, 2/5. I can do this either way. I can make it times something equals something over 10. Or I could do either way. You want to change this fraction to be over 10 or 100. The choice is yours, but it has to be over 10 or 100 to make it a decimal. Okay, so let's do it over 10. I don't know what the numerator is, but I do know that 5 times 2 is 10. So what I do to my bottom, I do to my top. Now 2 times 2 is 4. I can do 5 to 100. What did I multiply 5 by to get to 100? 20. What I do to my bottom, I do to my top. 2 times 20 is 40. So now to change this to a decimal, either one, it's the same kind of thing. 1, 0, 1 number behind the decimal. Okay. 2 zeros, 2 numbers behind the decimal. Either way, if I got rid of that 0, it's the same thing. Okay? You can either do it to over 10 or 100. It does not matter. You get the same decimal. So 2/5 is going to be this. Now, for your problems, you guys might have different numbers. Let's just say you have 3/5, or you have, I don't know, 7/10. Whatever it is, you have to change this to be over 10 or over 100. No matter what this original fraction is, mine happened to be 2/5, but whatever your original fraction is, make it be over 10 or make it be over 100. It is up to whatever you guys want to do, but whatever your original fraction is, change that to have a denominator of 10 or a denominator of 100. Okay? All right. This next problem, I have 3/25 that I want to write this as a decimal. So again, I'm going to have to go to paper. So I have 3/25. I need to change it over 10 or over 100. Well, 25 is already too big for 10. So I can't do it over 10. I have to do it times something to make it over 100. 10 is too small for 25 to be multiplied by anything to be 10. So it has to be 100. So whether yours is, let's say it's 1/50th or 4/20ths. If it's over 10, you can't change your denominator to 10. If it's over 10, it has to be over 100. For our last problem, it was less than 10, so I could choose 10 or 100. See the difference? It's less than 10, so I can go change it to 10, or I can change it to 100. This is bigger than 10, so I can't change my denominator to 10 because that'd be going backwards, which you can't do. Okay. So 25 times what equals 100? I'm going to think about quarters. There's 4 quarters to equal $1. So what I do to my bottom, I do to my top. 3 times 4 is 12. Now, there are 2 zeros in 100, which means 2 numbers behind the decimal. So here's my decimal. I'm going to write the 2 numbers that I do have behind the decimal. If you guys need help, I will have office hours. Even if you need help outside of office hours, I will likely, more than not, jump on Google Meets to help you out personally, where you can share your screen. We can work through the exact numbers that you have. Whatever issues you may have, I will help you. Just let me know. All right. Good luck, guys.